A new study was just released in the Journal of Psychology and Addictive Behaviors, and it looked into the question of drug use and domestic violence. So first, let's take a look at alcohol. Perhaps the findings about it are unsurprising. Quote, "The use of alcohol significantly increases one's likelihood of becoming either a perpetrator or a victim of a violent act, including acts of intimate partner violence." So, again, to me that was fairly unsurprising. I think we all have had, or we know somebody who has had some sort of issue in their family or with their friends involving alcohol where, look, I mean, call it what it is. Some people, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's genetic, I don't know if it's biological, I don't know if it's cultural, I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, some people, they can't handle certain drugs, and alcohol is one of those at the top of the list, where there are some genuine alcoholics where when they drink, it's like there's a switch that goes off, and they either, one, can't stop, or two, some people get pretty violent and pretty aggressive when they drink. So, and by the way, am I saying that you take this information and then use it to ban it by demonizing and demagoguing and saying, well, some people can't handle it, so take it away from everybody? No, I think that's a silly argument, and I think it's a silly argument for most drugs, if not all drugs, okay? But it is unsurprising that we get the information that if there's a lot of alcohol involved in a relationship, the likelihood of domestic violence goes up. Now let's compare that with weed. Quote, "Investigators at Yale University, Rutgers, and the University of Buffalo assessed over 600 couples to determine whether husbands and wives' pot use was predictive of domestic abuse at any time during the first 9 years of marriage." So let me pause there for a second. This is a very, very comprehensive study. 600 couples, that's a lot. And 9 years, you follow them? I mean, it almost seems like overkill to me, so that when they get the results, they could really say, shut the fuck up if you disagree. We looked into this in so many different ways and very thoroughly. So they continue. Researchers reported, quote, "In fully adjusted models, we found that more frequent marijuana use by husbands and wives predicted less frequent IPV, or intimate partner violence." Do I even need to say anything else? I feel like drop the mic and I'm out of this bitch. And you know what popped in my head when I was going through this? Michael Brown. Michael Brown in Ferguson, killed by the police officer, hands in the air. Because what was the argument they used? And in the Trayvon Martin situation, too. Anytime there's a young black kid who gets killed by a police officer or killed by somebody who has authority, what do? They say, oh my God, we found weed in his system. Well, number one, the weed stays in your system for up to 40 days, so you don't know if he just smoked it or you don't know if he smoked it 37 and a half days ago. And number two, if there was weed in his system, it helps his case. Because look, I mean, even according to the anti-drug government agencies who have spoken on this, they say the effects of marijuana are the opposite of aggression. Okay? And this is a very, very detailed study coming to the same conclusion. But my favorite fact of all, they go on to explain that if one person smokes weed in the relationship, so one person, the violence does go down. The chance of domestic abuse goes down. But if both of the partners smoke weed, it goes down even more. So if there's anything to take away from this, smoke up, ladies and gentlemen.